Two houses, same street, built the same year by the same builder, same square footage, same school district. One owner pays $6,400 a year in property tax. The other pays $2,100. Nobody made a mistake. One of them filed 5 pieces of paper the other never knew existed. According to AARP, more than 9 million seniors across this country qualify for property tax relief they've never claimed. Only about 8 in every 100 of them have ever filed for it. 92% are leaving this on the table for the rest of their lives. I'm Dave Gondon. For the last 15 years, I've worked directly with homeowners and county assessor offices, and today I'm walking you through 5 levers that can stop, shrink, or freeze your property tax bill permanently. Whether your home is paid off and comfortable, or you're living mostly on Social Security, there's something here for you. I'll tell you exactly who each one is for as we go. One quick thing before we start, nobody at the county is calling you on your birthday to offer any of this. Their office is funded by what they collect. Every exemption they approve is money their own budget doesn't get. The paperwork sits on a shelf until you walk in and ask for it by name. Let's start with the one everything else is built on top of. Lever 1, the foundation filing. Most homeowners assume this one is automatic, applied the moment they bought the house. In a lot of states, it isn't, and that single assumption is costing people real money. This is your homestead exemption. What it does is simple. It removes a chunk of your home's assessed value before the county even starts calculating your bill. In Texas, that's currently $100,000 off the school portion of your assessment. In Florida, it's $50,000. Every state has its own number, but every state has real money attached. Here's why I call this the foundation. In most states, you cannot access any of the next 4 levers. Not the birthday bonus, not the freeze, not the deferral, until this one is already on file under your name. Everything else sits on top of this. If you do nothing else after this video, call your county appraisal office tomorrow and ask one question. Is the homestead exemption currently on file for my property in my name? If they say no, ask what form fixes it. 1 page, usually due by the end of April, and in most states it stays on file for as long as you own the home. Lever 2, the birthday bonus. The day you turn 65, a second, completely separate exemption becomes available. Separate form, separate filing, and the county will not remind you it exists. In Texas, homeowners 65 and older get an additional exemption stacked on top of the standard homestead, bringing the combined school exemption to $160,000 off your assessed value. In New York, the Enhanced Star program removes over $70,000 from your school assessed value for qualifying seniors, typically worth $1,500 to $3,500 a year in real savings. Florida offers low-income seniors an additional exemption layered right on top of their existing one. Here's where comfortable retirees need to lean in instead of tuning out. A lot of these have income limits, and a lot of you assume that disqualifies you before you even check. But more than half the states offering this have no income test at all. Texas is one of them. Your home's value doesn't matter. Your retirement income doesn't matter. You turn 65, you file one form, it's yours. Call your county and ask, what's the over 65 exemption application for this county, and what's the deadline? Lever 3, the freeze. This is the big one. This is the entire difference between the $6,400 neighbor and the $2,100 neighbor. The year you turn 65 and file this form, the county locks in your home's value, or in some states, the actual dollar amount of your bill, at that year's number. From that point forward, no matter what happens to home prices around you, your tax is calculated on the frozen number, forever. In Texas, this comes as a tax ceiling. Your school district bill is frozen at the dollar figure for the year you turn 65. Your home value can triple. The bill cannot move. Illinois locks your assessed value in place as long as your household income stays under a set threshold. New Jersey takes a different approach. It refunds you the difference every year your bill rises above the year you first qualified. Here's the scenario that should get you to pick up the phone. Say your home was worth $220,000 the year you turned 65, and it's worth $440,000 today. If you never filed this, you're paying tax on $440,000 every year for the rest of your life. The neighbor who filed it is still paying tax on $220,000. Same house, same street, same year built. The only difference is one piece of paper. There's a real deadline here, usually a window around your 65th birthday. Miss it in some states, and you may lose it permanently. But even if you turned 65 3 years ago and never filed, call now. In most places, it applies going forward from whenever you file. It just can't recover what's already been paid. Lever 4. The refund switch. This one has a strange name, the circuit breaker, and it works exactly like the electrical kind. When your property tax bill crosses a certain percentage of your household income, the breaker trips and the state sends money back. Here's how it works. You file this with your state income tax return, even if you owe zero state income tax. You report your household income and what you paid in property tax that year. If your bill crosses a threshold, typically somewhere between 3% and 6% of income, depending on the state, you get a check or a credit for the difference. States including New York, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, and Missouri all run versions of this. The income limits are higher than people expect. Maryland cites closer to $60,000, which means this isn't a crisis program. It's a program for ordinary retirees whose property tax has quietly grown into a bigger slice of a fixed income. Search circuit breaker property tax, plus your state name. The form is usually one page, tucked into the back of your state tax instructions, and the check is real. Lever 5, the pause button. This is the one almost nobody talks about, probably because it sounds too good to be true. This lever doesn't reduce your bill, it pauses it. It's called a property tax deferral. You stop paying your property tax, not a lower amount, stopped entirely. The state pays your county on your behalf, and what they pay becomes a lien against your home, repaid only when you sell, move out, or pass the home to your heirs. States including Oregon, California, Washington, Colorado, Illinois, and Massachusetts run some version of this for homeowners 62 or 65 and older. The interest on the deferred amount is typically low, often just a few percent simple interest, and the lien sits behind your mortgage, not in front of it. This isn't only for homeowners in trouble either. Several states offer it regardless of income. If you're house rich and cash poor, which describes a huge number of retirees who've lived in the same home for decades and watched its value climb, this is the lever that lets you stay in that house without writing the county a check every year. One note, if you still have a mortgage, check with your lender first. Some mortgage agreements treat unpaid property tax as a default. For a fully paid off home, this is usually a clean, annually renewed application through your county treasurer or state revenue office. 3 more things worth knowing if you have any assets at all. Quick ones. If you or your spouse served in the military, the disabled veteran exemption exists in nearly every state. At a 100% service-connected disability rating, it can eliminate your property tax bill entirely. Partial ratings often stack on top of everything else we've covered. If a spouse passes away, their exemptions don't automatically transfer to you. The senior exemption, the freeze, sometimes the veteran exemption, all of it has to be refiled, usually within a year, and the surviving spouse typically needs to be at least 55. Skip that filing, and the bill can jump by thousands in the same year. A household just lost half its income. Counties will not flag this for you. And last, you have the right to challenge your assessed value every year for free, no lawyer required. Assessors set your value off neighborhood averages, not a walkthrough of your house. Bring 3 comparable sales that came in lower than your assessment. Sit in front of a review board for 15 minutes, and in a meaningful share of cases, your value and your bill comes down. Fewer than 1 in 20 homeowners ever try this, even though close to half who do walk away with a reduction. Here's the one thing to remember: none of this is automatic. There's no refund check that shows up because you were owed it. The law gives you the right. The law doesn't act on your behalf. You have to walk in and ask for it by name. Your homework: call your county assessor's office and ask 3 questions. Is my homestead exemption on file? What's the senior exemption I'm eligible for, and what's the deadline? And is there a senior assessment freeze in this county? How do I file it? 3 questions. 1 phone call. Potentially thousands of dollars a year for the rest of your life. If you know someone over 65 still paying their full bill, a parent, a neighbor, someone at church, send them this video. It might be the most valuable 5 minutes you ever share with them. 2 houses, same street, built the same year by the same builder, same square footage, same school district. One owner pays $6,400 a year in property tax. The other pays $2,100. Nobody made a mistake. One of them filed 5 pieces of paper the other never knew existed. According to AARP, more than 9 million seniors across this country qualify for property tax relief they've never claimed. Only about 8 in every 100 of them have ever filed for it. 92% are leaving this on the table for the rest of their lives.